Ah, the classic zoom. We all know one when we see one. I mean, we dabble ourselves. We zoom in on the moon.
Shit, that dude fell.
Our food.
Taco! They got a new thing called FRESHAVOCADO!
Our friends.
Dean, stop. You look like a Nazi.
And our pets.
Oh no! I think he loves me.
Yeah, I got you. I got this on camera.
I mean, remember the nostalgic slow zoom of the family camcorder? But weirdly, zooming isn't as popular in cinema as you might think. But why? Well, even back in 1927, when audiences first witnessed a zoom shot in a film called It, many considered it cheap. To some, it just meant you couldn't afford a dolly. What's a dolly? Well, this. You'll often see them used on tracks to move the camera closer or further away from the focus of the shot, and alongside it too. Often it's confused with a zoom, but where one moves the camera, the other does not. But hiring a dolly and the people to maneuver it is expensive, so sometimes filmmakers on a tight budget opt to zoom instead. But a zoom isn't just a cheap alternative to a dolly shot. Stanley Kubrick created some of the most memorable shots in film with simple, slow zooms like these from The Shining, A Clockwork Orange, and Full Metal Jacket. But you don't just have to go slow. Crash zooms like these are used by Quentin Tarantino to highlight pivotal story beats.
Whoa.
Sam Raimi uses them to ramp up the tension and horror. Edgar Wright builds momentum with crash zooms and quick cuts. The Office uses quick zooms for the sake of comedy.
Jump over the camera.
So did Arrested Development.
You want to pop the trunk and roll the windows down, please?
Succession does something similar, but it's less about the comedy and more about making you aware of the camera's filming. And this is where you find the second reason as to why zooms are sometimes avoided in filmmaking. It's no accident that most camera moves you see in movies are just emulations of what you can do with your eyes and head. A pan as a car passes, your eyes can do that. A quick glance at your watch, an insert shot, your eyes can do that. Tilting your head up to look at a towering building in front of you, your eyes can do that too. But a zoom? Not going to happen. So when a camera zooms, it runs the risk of reminding you that you're watching a camera zoom and breaking that immersion. And the faster the zoom, the more noticeable. And it's kind of funny that the two most opposing genres possible, comedy and horror, benefit the most from this fact and the uneasiness and awkwardness it can create.
I'm Jim Halpert. Spot on.
Come on, April! Mom wants us inside! Look what I found, Cindy!
But what if you were to combine the classic zoom with a more popular camera move like a pan or a tilt or a dolly in, say, a drama or a thriller or an action film? Well, you get some pure magic. This scene in Spielberg's Munich involves our main characters on the street attempting an assassination via a bomb-rigged phone upstairs. And the zoom works so well in this scene because it's meant to make you feel uneasy. So why wouldn't you use zooms that do just that?
So now we wait for the red light.
And then you've got the heist setup sequence from the first Mission Impossible that also has some top shelf zoom combinations. They're that good that they make you scared of condensation.
Now, believe me when I tell you, gentlemen, all three systems are state of the art.
And you really think we can do this?
We're going to do it.
With that said, there is one combination that is probably the most recognizable. Now, you might recognize the dolly zoom from such films as Jaws, Vertigo, The Lord of the Rings, and Me, Myself, and Irene.
What are you staring at, fucker?
And it's exactly what it sounds like.
1, 2, ready, kick it.
You dolly in and you zoom out. You dolly out and you zoom in. But actually executing it is another story. So these are Cine lenses, and a massive thanks to Lauer for sponsoring this video and allowing me to use their new Ranger 35 lens range to demonstrate the power of the zoom. So the Cine, or cinema in the name, basically means they're made for video, as opposed to, say, a photography lens like this one. And the first thing you'll notice when you compare the two are these. The Lauer's got teeth, which is for one of these. This is a follow focus, and its job is to make it easy to adjust the focus of the lens without needing to touch the lens itself. And we'll need that to help maintain focus while we move the camera towards Alan here. So let's use the 17 to 50mm from the kit to grab a mid of Alan at 50mm, so our start point of the dolly zoom. Then if we move the camera forward and zoom out to 17mm to maintain the same mid-shot framing, we get this. Two shots that are technically both mids but look very different because of the ways different focal lengths distort the image. The dolly zoom basically is the transition between these two shots, and that distortion is what allows you to use the dolly zoom to punctuate a character's realization or to visualize the feeling of uneasiness. And yes, it's hard. It's a hard camera move because normally you need a few more crew members than what we had, which was 2. And trying to get the zoom and the slide and the focus pull in sync and smooth so it's not distracting is a lot harder than we had imagined in our heads. But either way, by the end of it, I think we got something that was passable. So, behold the power of the dolly zoom. Alan! You're a bobblehead, Alan. So that's zooming. Your mum and dad loved it on the camcorder, and despite what some may say, filmmakers do too.